reports or something will be mentioned?
Balance sheet.
Yes. Page number?
Okay.
Open. That is a professional way of looking at your balance sheet. That's it. See, from a distance I can make out. That's it. That's it. First, ensure that it is the balance sheet. Read the heading.
Balance sheet as at 31st March.
That's it. This is a synopsis of the balance sheet. Now details are available in schedules or notes. Note 1, note 2, note 3 are there. Did you notice that?
Note 1, yeah.
Note 1, note 2, note 3. Now if you want the details of the components of those figures, you turn over for those notes. Is that okay? For example, share capital, note 1 will be there. Correct?
Share capital.
Note 1. Turnover, see the note 1? What does it contain? That note? Authorized capital.
Authorized
paid up, issued, subscribed capital. And then paid up capital last. Then reserves. Is it okay? Now the total of it all is summarized and mentioned in the balance sheet. Come back. Come back.
Where is reserves?
Note 1.
Reserves and surplus. Note 2.
Maybe it is note 2 in some balance sheet. You should be able to identify, trace where it is. Okay. Actually, in the main balance sheet, I think I mentioned share capital and reserves separately.
Yeah.
Therefore, there is note 1 and note 2. Are you feeling comfortable now? Right. Now let us say, keeping that balance sheet in full view, there is paid up capital to begin with, reserves to follow it up. Together they become net worth. I think you should not forget these things. We have already done it, and once again don't start writing down in your notes. Net worth is equal to paid up capital plus reserves. We have already done it. Why do you write it again and again, sir? That means you have not read I am just recalling. That is a problem.
Listen.
You should, I don't mince words when I say it is objectionable that you come without reading. Not acceptable. I come after reading to the class, which I don't need to, but I do. Okay. Then we have borrowed capital under loans. Come below. Next heading, loans. Now the first analysis of balance sheet is to compare the total of the tangible net worth. I don't use the word, I assume you know what net worth means.
Yeah.
So the first job is to compare the amount of net worth contained in the balance sheet with the amount of loan, outside loan borrowed by the company. Now if you take the total of the loans, you have a figure. Now you use your pen and paper and calculator. You write down loan is equal to total of the loan. I will not supervise the figures. I take it that you read the correct figures, the total of the loans. Your current liability is also there?
So long-term borrowings and short-term borrowings?
Both, we take both. Help him if you are done with it.
Other long-term liabilities.
Yes, plus current liabilities. Current liabilities are mentioned there.
494 plus 15.
The total. Write only in lakhs. Don't write to the last digit. Because you are a manager, you are only looking at the big picture. You are not accountants. check each other. You look into his balance sheet and write the same words again, net worth, loans and you look into this balance sheet, sir. Both of you look at each other's balance sheets. Write two balance sheet ratios. Each one of you.
Which you know?
This will not be good.
Network.
Different tax liability. Borrowed is only minus, huh? Provisions, trade payments.
Sir, deferred tax liability.
Add up. Don't just whatever comes under the word liability, add.
Okay. So what are both everything are non-current liabilities, sir?
Sir, we have only two departments in the whole sheet. One is own capital, another is borrowed capital.
Okay, everything.
Now why are you looking at components, deferred tax liability, current liability?
Okay.
Because you have no time. On the back of the envelope in which you received this balance sheet by post,
Oh.
you should be able to calculate before the postman turns the corner.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
It's already there, right?
No, just again you directed only. No. This also I think we need to.
Take time to understand. Huh? Don't be hurried. All of you should get one good calculator, okay? Big one, accounting calculator, okay? Okay, don't use your mobile phones.
Or at least mentally calculate, write one or two figures by dividing. I am asking you, first you have taken the figures, net worth,
No, loan I have taken out. My quota.
Yes, and then you have to network divided by
no, the other way.
All the liability.
Sir, all like other than paid up capital and reserves. Don't look item by item there, sir. You please take, the best method I will tell you, sir.
Yeah.
Can you identify paid up capital? Yes or no?
Yes.
Write it down, only paid up capital. PUC. Abbreviation, paid up capital, PUC is equal to, write down the figure. All of you. Did you? Reserves, add to it. Add reserves. Add. Add. Don't use calculator. Add.
2, 2, 4, 6, 7.
Something like that. 1, 7 plus 1, 7, whatever it is. Yes, correct.
And last this is 540. Do we need to add anything?
That's what I have.
Did you add that, sir? Paid up capital plus reserves.
Yes.
Call it A.
Yes.
Now, all of you are ready? Don't proceed. Just that.
Okay.
I don't know what you are writing.
Close.
Now take the grand total of the balance sheet.
Okay.
The bottom total.
Yes.
Either under liabilities or under assets, because both are same.
Yes.
Call it, write down
Yes.
that total. Call it B.
Yes.
Sir? Okay?
Yeah.
B minus A is equal to, calculate. No calculator, mentally, visually.
You are a CEO, don't forget that.
You are a CEO, you are not supposed to use two things, calculator and eraser. Got it?
Yes, sir.
That is what? What is that? C. What is C?
That is your borrowings.
Loan.
Loans.
That is outside capital. Now, did you get it?
Yeah.
Sir?
Yes.
C divided by A.
Grant. What is BNC?
BNC is like your borrowings.
Talking about loans, okay.
Doesn't it stand to common sense? The total minus
Correct.
paid up capital is equal to
Is
loan.
borrowed.
That's all I am trying to reveal. The Aika, you got some quotient?
Yes.
How much?
1.5.
Alright, you quick.
He is doing it, sir.
C by A.
C is 2884.
1.2.
Alright, you
That calculator.
both of you should get the same thing. Don't copy with each other because you are using the same balance sheet. Sir, you tell me the figures, the C figure, my dear sir. C, how much is C? C, you have not calculated? A minus B.
Actually, we don't have that, we have full number. Converting that to only lakhs.
First three digits you write, sir. What is this full, half and conversion and all that? There are some 6 digits there.
Yes.
Please take first 2 digits. Not last 2, first 2.
Approximate. Crores or lakhs.
Please tell me, what are you doing? Are you an auditor, inspector, or are you CEO?
I am a
First 2
C.
digits.
How much you got? Anil, how much you got?
1.5.
How did you get? C is how much?
C is 1894.
A,
0.6. A is 1224.6.
again you are adding 0.6 in one case and you are giving me a whole figure in the first case. Please be consistent.
No, 1894.6.
1894, stop.
Okay, yes. Okay.
Sir, what are you
No, I
doing,
was
sir?
just telling you.
I don't need it, sir. I have no patience.
1895.
Because somebody is waiting there for
1895.
taking over my company.
1895, yeah.
Say that, 1895. And then
1225.
1225 is loan.
Yes. Sorry, 1225 is share net worth. 1225.
1225 is net worth.
Yes.
And loan is 18.
1895. I am just giving the
I
ratio.
know, I am asking you only to do that. So, is it less than 1 or more than 1? If you divide
Greater than 1.
less than 1.
Greater than 1.
That is your equity is higher than debt. Is that right? Debt is a word I am using for loan. Equity is the word I am using for paid up capital plus reserves.
Okay.
Are the definitions clear in your mind?
Yes.
Debt is loan.
Yes.
Paid up capital plus reserves is equity.
Yes.
Then A and
So,
B.
equity is greater than loan. Which I have.
So you have put equity in the denominator.
I put equity in the. Yes, equity in
Correct.
the denominator.
Correct.
Yes.
Because the ratio we are calculating is called debt equity ratio.
Okay.
If that is so called, what should come in the denominator?
Equity.
Correct. Equity. Correct.
Debt to equity means equity.
That's it. Sir, first understand the concepts properly. Now, what is your figure?
Mine is 1.2, sir.
Earlier figure you are holding the
Yes,
same.
yes.
1.287.
How much is debt? How much is equity?
Equity is 4161. And debt is
How much is equity?
4161.
Ah,
And debt is 5358. 5358.
Yeah, equity is 4161, debt is for 5358, and if I divide it 1.2867.
Right.
By 1.2. You are a billionaire. You are a
See,
millionaire.
this mental obsession of going to the second decimal place, third decimal place, don't do that, sir. In fact, only one figure I want. It is 2. It is 1. It is 1. Maybe one more decimal, 1.5. Not 1.5.
Okay,
4, 3,
you
4.
understood, no? You.
The concept is a bigger picture. I told you once again, all of you will see. I am training you in such a manner that if a postman brings a balance sheet in an envelope because you are a shareholder and you are entitled to a copy of your balance sheet. You are not in the company at all, but you have invested in this balance sheet, in this company. He brings it. You tear it, open correctly the page and write on the back of the same envelope, don't search for a pencil. And without calculator, look at it, mentally see the quotient. Before he turns the corner to the next house. Who? The postman.
Because it's the fundamental.
Aditya Birla was in Bombay when I was in the bank. He was a very junior man in those days. Later he became a big man. I had an occasion to meet him in Birla House in Bombay, representing the bank for some small little thing. 2 things I observed. Big Birla House office with all MBA boards there, executives, corridor, quiet, and chairman's cabin. I went into one of the MBA cabins. I wanted some bifurcation of the creditors, debtors and all that because I was into it when I was financing that company. What is it you want? MBA fellow from Bajaj Institute. I said the bifurcation of over 6 months and below 6 months debtors who are due to pay, the age of the customer. You see, actually what happens is, in our system, when we feed this, blah, 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 yes, all right, okay. Finally, no answer. I came out, wanting to go back to the bank. There was one Munshiji who was walking by. He is a typical Rajasthani Marwadi. Uneducated. No school at all, not school dropout. He has never dropped in. Middle-aged fellow with a pencil here, with a gold bordered cap, kache panche, and "Aapka kya chahiye?" he said. Oh, I thought he would understand this. नहीं कुछ bifurcation चाहिए था. क्या चाहिए बोलो ना. नहीं वो संडी डेटर्स होता है ना. क्या संडी डेटर रोका हाँ बोलो क्या होना. I said ये 6 महीने का बिलो etc. हाँ आई अंदर आई. He took me directly into the Aditya Birla's cabin. That man was sitting. This fellow's grandfather onwards was an employee of Aditya Birla's grandfather. That is how they trust each other, the Rajasthani community. MBAs are only for tax saving purposes. They are all debatable items. Aditya Birla said, please sit down. He is an MBA. Then, sir, I came only for that. You went to a wrong tree. Sir, they are all MBA, finance and all that for different reasons. Tell me what you want. He will give you. And that fellow, kya chahiye? Oh, in Gujarati, the Marwadi language, he spoke. That fellow in a big coat with several packets, he fished into one pocket and said, above 6 months this month, below 6 months this month. Put it. Then another paid up capital, issued capital, blah, 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 yet another pocket, pulled. Oh. He was carrying the balance sheet with complete data in a coat. Aditya Birla ran 18 industries at one point of time as a group chief. He would get only management information system on his breakfast table at home. And that consisted only about 3 or 4 items. Sunday creditors, Sunday debtors, daily sales, daily payrolls. Every day, breakfast table, he would take corporate decisions at home, no calculator. I learned this when I was at the bank. No meaning in parading ourselves with our qualifications. India is run on that basis, the corporate India. You go to any big company, Morata Group, I went once, some sugar company, same thing. One Munshiji sitting there, sitting down like this, rattle off. You have to see business in Bombay. We are nowhere. And that is the reason why for the first time I am feeling the smell, the aroma of the businessman running this country as a Prime Minister. It comes from typical such a family. He has shown it, the way he has converted Gujarat. Don't look at, once he said, when he was Chief Minister, don't look at the GDP of India, look at GDP of Gujarat. Nobody knows the figures. Double-digit figure. When Manmohan Singh was running this country, Gujarat was having double-digit inflation figure, GDP figure. Typical Bania, Modi. Typical Bania. Right from day one, he meant business. So, we talk about corporate, mission and vision, such words, big words we use. These people don't understand this. वो मुंशी जी को भाई ने बोला, आपका corporate vision क्या है? ये क्या होता है वो? Then at least आपका मुख्य उद्देश्य ध्येय नंबू बड़ला इंग्लिश हिंदी मेरा मतलब है वो हमारे पिताजी ने बोला है बेटा कुछ भी करो यार मतलब चलो that Morarka's second son, Morarka was one of the richest in those days when Goenka and others were considered to be the richest people. His second son is telling me, पिताजी ने बोला बेटा कुछ भी काम करो, कुछ भी बिजनेस करो, ये मई में रखो, जितना पैसा डाला है उतना पैसा उठाने का है बस. That is my corporate vision. पैसा उठाना. जितना पैसा हम डाले हैं उतना पैसा थैला उठाने का. That is corporate vision. And Prasanna Chandra's textbook calls it break-even point, margin of safety. Who wants break-even point? I am going to teach you that. Written there. जितना पैसा रखा है, डाला है, उतना पैसा उठाने का है. This is typical business. हम लोग ट्राई नहीं हो रहे. 0.27 इधर मत करना. You should know what to see, what not to see. In fact, you should know what not to see in the balance sheet. Okay, now coming back to brass tacks. All of you got something more than one. I think all of you. What does it indicate? Quickly.
Or borrowings is more than.
That's not called interpretation. That's called definition. That's called redefining a figure in the English language. That's not called interpretation.
Okay.
I understand that if it is 1.2, I understand that that is 1.2 times or 120% more than equity. Does it require you to say that? The figure is speaking. Now, you tell me, what do you make out of it? What business decision will you take, and how do you evaluate your company? How do you calibrate your performance?
What is the basic question? On your mind.
More source.
That's what it means. But what is your decision?
What is your decision? This is your company.
I need to go for public equity to raise some source of funds.
Basic question.
maybe I can, I will, if I have some, cash or something, I'll try to pay and reduce.
Bad businessman is one who repays loans. Because loan is a very, very cheap source for doing business. You will repay a loan only when they liquidate your company and you preside over the liquidation of your empire. Not then, not until then. In fact, as a good businessman, I am unsatisfied with that figure. I want it to be 2. I want to be 2.5, 2.7, 3. Why? Because with showing little and little of my own investment, I want to borrow more and more and run my business.
Fantastic.
I want to play the top, bugri, with least chati. You understand? If it is wound about 2-3 times only and if you play the bugri, it revolves faster.
Quickly.
But there is a constraint. The loan, whose loan is it? Whom have you borrowed from? Don't look into the balance sheet.
Balance.
Whom have you borrowed from is the question. A corporate entity. Say, sir, banks. That's it. That's all. What else? Who else? Bank. So the bank will lend the money on their norms. And they see the balance sheet and find if it is 4, 5, because you want it to be 4 or 5, because you want to invest least and borrow most. Therefore, your investment and your risk factor in your own business is least. That's your corporate objective. Correspondingly, the bank's risk will be higher and higher the moment your investment is lower and lower. Isn't it, sir?
Two-player game.
Therefore, the banks will say up to this and no further. Mute plus ultra. Up to this and no further. And the bank's norm is 2. I'm informing you as a fact. What does that mean? Bank's norm is 2 means what?
Ratio, debt to equity.
What does it mean, sir? We understand debt equity ratio is not greater than 2. It translates itself into what?
For every 1 rupee you put, I may give 2 rupees.
I will maximum give you 2 rupees. There's a maximum loan you can borrow from me is 2 rupees for every 1 rupee of your money. Is the meaning. Did you follow?
Huh? There is
But one thing,
always
in the
a
share
threshold.
market, just to
Don't deviate, sir. I am very much focused. One can talk volumes on this, but I am focused. Now, when the bank says 2, I have some room from 1.2 to 2 without banks whipping me. Isn't it, sir? If the norm is accepted as 2, I am below the norm. That means I can afford to borrow more without question. That means I can do more business without my own money anymore. What have I been doing? I am idling and I am underutilizing my borrowing capacity. And consequently, my growth rate is slowing down. Does it make meaning? An innocuous A divided by B.
You understood what is finance class? Okay? Chalo. Understood what is finance class? Work. Change your cap. You are not a student, you are an investor.
Situation 1. This is debt, this is equity. $1.2, maybe something like this. If I say this, what's the debt equity in this case?
is
1,
1.
not 1:1, that is ratio.
1.
That is proportion. I am talking about ratio. Ratio does not have these two. In school we have learned the difference between ratio and proportion. We didn't pay the fee, so we have forgotten it. What does this mean? How much is debt equity in this case?
Less than
Correct, less than 1. This case?
1.
In this case?
Greater than.
Greater than that.
So you are all in this group? Greater than that. Fine. What is the norm? 2:2. 2. So it could be perhaps if it is like this. It is not square like this, but definitely greater than 1, but not up to 2 yet. And if it is something like this is 1 inch, and if I have a 2 inch here, then it is 2. The debt equity is 2. Higher and higher I borrow and lower I invest, what will happen to debt equity ratio? It escalates.
Yes,
What is the limit up to which it will go? 2. That's the norm. But up to, if you have borrowed from some other source than the bank, there is no norm. So what is the limit up to which it will go? Infinity. Say mathematically, not just like this, not poetic English. It is infinity is a figure. It is an entity. Unfortunately, it is an indeterminate entity. That's all. But it is also an entity, like 0. It has a name and a habitation. How will the figure look? Not like that. Explain to me geometrically how does it look? An inverted pyramid. You speak like that, sir. Not mathematics, sir. A regular pyramid. What is the debt equity in this? The debt equity ratio, how much is it here?
0.
0. Here?
Infinity.
Now, most of the corporates following the norm fall in a small interval between 0 and infinity. Does it make sense? Does it? In a small interval?
Small interval, there is much.
Does it make sense?
What is small?
Mathematics and also finance, therefore, both are brothers. Are larger than debt equity ratio. The subjects also have an important element called so larger than is not confined to debt equity ratio. Unless you have a humor, no subject is easy. Now, from a lender's point of view, why the hell does State Bank of India say 2 and thus far and no further? I won't lend you if it is more than 2. Why? He draws a mental picture like this. And then he finds that 2 is here. Compared to this and this, 2 is here. Compared to this and one more, for example, only like this and this. No, I'm sorry, this is the other way. Debt and equity. Debt is 2, equity is 1, so this is 2. Compared to this and this, which is stabler? This is the ground level. This is the ground level.
question. Which is stable.
On the ground, these figures are standing in this manner, and it is not a laboratory conditions, NTP conditions. It is regular commercial conditions of tsunamis happening, earthquakes happening, etc. In such a real condition of commercial world, which is stable, which is unstable. Here.
Which building will stay, which building will fall?
More than
This is figure 1, 2, 3, 4.
Which will stay, which will fall?
Now this is fairly stable. This is uncomfortably stable, uncomfortably, and this is most unstable. So the degree of stability depends upon the debt equity ratio. The most stable is this. That means everything is equity, nothing is debt. Only schools can run, not commercial organizations. This college can run. Your college.
Professors will be CEOs then.
So there is no such. This is only.
Sir, is it possible to achieve that in corporate?
I don't want to achieve, sir. I will be closing my shop. You want to achieve a business with absolutely no borrowing?
Means that,
Where is growth?
as a mentality, like as borrow means like we something.
That's right. Indebtedness, the Pitru Runa. That is why India was like this until Modi came. Tell me what?
There's some parking issues.
I thought
You
it
want
was
to
a
go?
towing vehicle, so I just asked.
No,
is
I
it
just-
okay to park outside?
Pitruna, sir, we are on Runa.
Pitru Runa and I'll be a school teacher like me. Do no business. Teach business and don't do business. Unless you are borrowing and you maximize your borrowing, your cost of capital, which I will take up immediately, will be very high if you don't borrow. Cost of capital will be very high. Capital does not mean share capital. Capital means the entire left-hand side or the upper portion of the balance sheet is called capital. Own capital plus borrowed capital is called capital. That will become very high. Anyway, I will prove it to you later. But at this moment, you understand the importance of debt equity ratio. Ideally speaking, we should follow the norm of a lender. So in India, we are following two. Because in Indian banks, do not lend if your debt equity is higher than 2. Now the conclusion is that if your debt equity is below 2, then you are not a good businessman. You are not utilizing or tapping the unused borrowing capacity. And as a businessman, your mindset should be borrow maximum, invest least. Even if you have that kind of money, invest a portion of it in another project by again borrowing for that project. That is how you grow. Okay. If you see the debt equity ratio of your own company's balance sheet after learning this, you will find that all of your companies who were around 0 or maybe maximum 0.75. Nowhere near 2. What does it indicate? Infosys, for example, if you see the balance sheet, it is 0.75 debt equity. Is it something good? No. Then why are they not borrowing? Don't they understand? They have got the best of the financial brains in their company, including Mohandas Pai. Has he advised them not to borrow? On the contrary. Nobody is lending. That is the reason why their debt equity, unfortunately, is low. They are not happy about it. Nobody is lending to Infosys. At least State Bank of India does not have Infosys as its customer. We have repeatedly said no. Canara Bank is one bank, partially it has lent because they do not have marketable, mortgageable assets to offer as security. Mortgageable.
Mortgageable. Okay.
Their buildings are not their own, land is not their own. Buildings of course may be their own, but it has no value at all. The land is not their own. It is government land, lease. And their assets are only software. And software, programmed software, only meant for one customer.
Thanks.
So if you default my loan in SBI, what do I sell as your asset to recover my money? Nothing. And most of their money is taken as advance payment from customers to meet their working capital. And so the question of my giving a cash credit facility against stocks and inventory and all that zero. Inventory is what tapas.
Risk.
So software companies in general.
Almost all. Okay. So in the balance sheet, we won't find much loans at all there. Some small little overdrafts here and there. Okay. That is one issue. Next. You look into the current assets in the balance sheet. Now don't find it and all that. You should know exactly where to see. First of all, it is on the asset side of the balance sheet. Under assets,
Current assets.
yes. You find current assets there.
Yeah.
Note number.
2.10.
Number 30.
Yes.
13, 14.
First you turn over number. Current asset total is there. Total current assets are there. There is a total.
Yes.
Take that figure. That is A. Write down. Help me.
Current. This one, and then periodic
Total of current assets.
Total current assets. So you have to calculate some of these by year.
This is 8.
Now this is the calculation of the assets.
Total current
Current
assets.
assets. Total current assets. First of all, current assets composes what?
Inventories,
Receivable.
receivables.
Cash, inventory, receivable. That receivable word can be book debts, can be bills pay, receivable, by any name, whatever you call. Don't get hooked on to words. Because that auditor also has a freedom to use a word so long as he thinks that that word describes what he wants to say. So don't get hooked on to words. Whatever customers are yet to pay against your bill is a receivable. It may be called bills receivable, it may be called book debts, it may be called trade receivables, whatever. Then, inventory. Inventory means raw material, other stocks, that is stock in process, and finished product, finished good, yet to be sold, kept in storeroom. That's called inventory, combined name. Now inventory plus receivables and some little cash. Even if you don't take cash, ignore it, because if you see the cash balance in any company as a percentage of the total assets, it is negligible.
Very less.
If it is very large, as in Infosys case, it is poor management of cash. Definitely Infosys is a very good example for bad management of cash. They can't help it. They are cash rich and they are worried about it. Because it is idle investment.
Okay.
Are you following me, sir?
Yes.
Without hesitation, you ask me, but in my condition as I sit here, my anxiety is that you should know fast. I am shouting. It doesn't matter. I am not here to seek votes here. I am interested in seeing that you are provoked. What is that?
In this case, the current asset total is not there.
It should be there.
No, they give only asset total. They have
Current assets total nahi hai?
Current assets and total is total.
Total assets.
No. About approximately, don't take the calculator, sir.
Okay, approximately.
Approximately 500 plus 100 and something like that. Round it off. It must be something like 900 or 800, no? Enough for me.
1000.
Yeah, then. Okay, current assets are those which are in the operating cycle. Investments made at different stages. And what is an operating cycle? How does the cycle of manufacture commences and where does it end and through what stations does it go? Tell me, It starts with what?
Raw material.
Yes.
Raw materials.
Then you add labor to it and you add power to it and increase the value of that raw material. It becomes some sort of a semi-finished goods. And you further add the similar values for a longer time to make it finished goods. And you sell it, but you don't get cash immediately. You have to wait for the bills to be collected. And finally, you may get cash. At each one of these stages in the cycle, if you take a static picture of a moving cycle, it is rotating, sir. It's like a conveyor belt in a factory shop. Chain. Now, if you take a static photography of that conveyor belt, what do you see? Imagine mentally, what do you see there? You see virgin raw material in one place, unfinished goods in another, all static, standing as they are. Value them, and that is current assets. You don't worry about how to value. That is for somebody else who is paid less than you. He will value and say, that is current assets. Is it understood? Now, is your investment at any given point of time. 1 minute earlier it was different, and 1 minute later it would be different, because it's a conveyor belt. Semi-finished goods, before you slowly keep uttering it, it would have become finished goods. So at any given point of time, there is a fair representation of an investment in current assets which is uniform, generally uniform at any given point of time. That's the meaning. That is why the balance sheet is called as at. In fact, I would have said as at 3 p.m. on 31st March. Not for the period. It is as at. It is not a balance sheet for 1 year. It is balance sheet as at the last day of any given year. Follow? You have invested, but have you paid for all that? Raw material, for example, it is available there in that cycle. It is your raw material, but have you paid for it? No. Just like your customer has not paid for your finished goods, you have also not paid for your supplier. But it is yours. Ownership is yours. But there is a liability attached to it. You are not paid. Then how is it yours? If you are not paid, can I go to the shop and pick up something and say it is mine? I am not paid for it. I will pay 3 months later, but I will take it from the shop now. Short of robbery, he has agreed and he has given. In my balance sheet, can I show it as my asset? Answer is yes. That is because of law. There are 2 commercial laws. One is Sale of Goods Act. Another is Transfer of Property Act. Sale of Goods Act relates to movable assets. Sale and purchase of movable assets.
Movable.
M-O-V-A-B-L-E. Transfer of Property Act refers to immovable assets. For example, unless I pay the last installment of the building which I have purchased, I cannot show it as my asset in my balance sheet. That is under Transfer of Property Act. But under Sale of Goods Act, if I buy a raw material without paying, of course it is concurrence, without paying, the moment I possess it, I become owner. In other words, in the case of movable property, possession conveys title. Look at the language. Title means ownership. Conveys means grants, transfers. It's called conveys. Possession conveys title. That is, if you are in possession of something, you are the owner. Under Sale of Goods Act. So you can show it as asset in the balance sheet. Raw material can be shown like that. All current assets are movable assets, and therefore all of them are attached with liability. But it can be shown as your asset. Land building vehicles, blah blah blah, under fixed assets in the balance sheet do not come within the purview of current assets. And so, whatever you see in the fixed assets in the schedule, note number 1, you will note number something, turn the note, 8, yes, turn, there is one schedule, number 8, that's it. You see the headings,
Not current assets.
please see the headings,
Notes on accounts.
sir, items,
This one, sorry.
Fixed assets, tangible assets.
Land.
say that, land,
Land,
Ah,
buildings,
ah.
plant and equipment,
so they are all fixed assets.
tangible.
Furniture. Don't add words, tangible, intangible.
Yes,
No, not now, not now, not now.
furniture and
I
fixtures.
told you what you should learn what not to see. I just told you to identify land, building, etc.
Yes, got it. Office, vehicles, etc.
Enough. All of them are non-movable, immovable assets. They are fixed assets, and unless you pay for them, it is not your asset. So there is no liability attached. You may borrow money and buy a car. That's okay, so long as you show the liability on that side. But the transfer will not occur to you. Your ownership will not come until the liability is paid off. Even car, if you buy a car on loan, buy a building on loan, it is mortgaged to the lender, and so your title is qualified, which means not absolute. Did you follow? No? Say no. Say no. There is a
Yeah,
word
it's
called
not
no.
so easy. Qualified and absolute.
I said that. So I just let it sink. I know that it didn't sink. So you should say, what does it mean? If I say this is my car, full stop, that means I have paid off all the loans if there were any attached to it. Then I am the absolute owner. There is no another person to make any claim over my car in any capacity as a lender. But this is my car. Look at that. There is a very significant pause. That means there is somebody waiting to pick it up if I don't pay his loan. Now, RC book is in my name, but there is an entry in the RC book that it is hypothecated to Canara Bank. So my ownership is qualified.
Qualified.
There is an adjective for my loan. Enough? The entry in that RC book is an adjective to the word owner. That's right, huh? Okay, it is qualified owner. Well, adjective is there, right? C R Rao is C R Rao, C R Rao is C R Rao, absolute permanent. Andre RC book only an entry is not that. That's right, huh? So, coming back to current assets, there must be some liabilities attached to it, and they are under current liabilities. Locate where the current liability word is. There is a note there. Don't go to the note. Understand the definition. Note over habitate over because we are only looking at the big picture. Define current liability, sir. Allirolla. Definition is in your mind.
Yes,
Define.
current liabilities, bills,
Definition, not illustration.
We have current assets, so those are movable assets, so we have liabilities.
You are using the word liability while defining liability. Now, current liability is a debt that I owe, which should be repaid from out of the asset that I bought from his debt. And there is a steel ingot which I need to make fasteners. I went to the market and a trader supplied that to me. And he said, I will give you 2 months to pay. I use that ingot without having paid, but because it is a movable asset, I will show it as an asset, mine, because possession conveys title. And that ingot I will put it into operation and make it screws and nuts and bolts, the fasteners. I sell it and I get money from out of the bills from the customer to whom I sell this. And that bill payment, I will use it to pay off the supplier. Until then, the supplier keeps sucking his thumb. So he is current liability. So a current liability is one where somebody is sucking his thumb. So the definition is that it is the source of funds which will be repaid from out of the current assets. That's it. Current liability is a debt payable out of current assets. Something.
Both are current. Common word is current.
Current. Anybody else can repeat that?
Current liability is a source of funds payable out of current assets.
Source of funds payable.
ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಬೇಡಿ ಸರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಶೀಟ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಿಲ್ಲ ಅಲ್ಲಿ you close the balance sheet and then ruminate over it. Current assets are any assets which are used in order to pay off a liability attached to it. The liability attached to it is called current liability. Now open the balance sheet. Now jot down the figures of current assets and current liability in your balance sheet. Total of the current, you already written current asset, yes. Take the total of current liabilities, call it B.
Only calculate it. No, only current. That time we calculate non-current also. So now
Current
calculate
liability.
only these. That time include this also. So only these.
Current assets are A or B. Current liability is B. You got the figures.
Yes.
What should you do with these figures? Proceeding from the definition, I said current liability is one that is paid out of, exclusively out of the current assets. Now given these two figures, how do you determine whether you are capable of doing so? That's it. Simple, common sense. If I say the current liabilities have to be paid exclusively out of current assets, don't you think current assets value must be higher than current liability?
Yes.
Verify whether it is higher. How? Dividing one by the other, not subtracting one from the other. By subtracting one from the other, you will get a surplus figure. But my question is, how many times it is higher than? That's the
How
question.
many times? Ratio.
Therefore, I should divide A upon A by B, and that quotient will give me the number of times the value of the current assets exist over and above the value of the current liability.
How much?
In your case, how much?
0.97.
0.97.
0.97.
Don't say point. 0.97 in this case. In your case, sir,
1.9.
right? 1.9.
How much?
1.9.
How much?
1.2B.
Which is your balance sheet company,
Maple Limited.
sir?
Maple Limited.
Point
And yours?
Apollo.
Apollo. 2.9? Are you sure? Sure. Before you are here. Current assets are 17. 35. Current liabilities are 17.90. Yeah. This is which year? Okay. Current year. All right. That is Apollo. And yours, sir?
0.93.
0.93.
0.93.
And what is the name of the company?
TVs.
1.9.
1.9.
Which company? Say,
I think so. 1.22.
which company?
Liberty.
Shoes.
Yes.
Now interpretation. Don't once again say current asset is 1.9 times more. Interpret in your own way. Just like net equity, we made some noise. You make a little louder noise this time because you are experienced.
In this case, current assets is low than current liability.
Your answer number 1. That I know.
Is
So,
something like this.
Vipul business, they are more profitable.
Profit comes in profit and loss. We are into what?
But
Balance.
liability is much less than.
Yeah, because of profit. I have not yet sold.
No, but the
Raw material, finished goods I have there. Have I sold yet? Receivable, maybe.
no, but from raw material to finished product, the value is
Sir, you have
interpretation.
invested. You have invested that much money. Now, supposing on a full moon day, on 13th February, full moon day, and in Hosur Cemetery, a woman with the hair let loose, blue eyes, white sari, standing 2 feet above ground level, calls on you and knocks your door and say, I am the supplier of raw material, please repay my loan. Now, because it is current. What should be your position? Defensive position. You should be able to say yes. When will you be able to say yes? When your current assets value are sufficient to cover her debt.
Current.
That means, notionally speaking, hypothetically speaking, at the same time I take all this to Kalaspalam and sell it and collect cash and come back to Hosur Cemetery and pay. And that much asset I have. Did you understand? Which part did you not understand? That white woman standing 2 feet above ground level? Or is it because the total value of my current assets is higher than the current liabilities? This state in which I am, that I manage my funds in such a way, not profit. My funds, my sources, my cash inflow and cash outflow, not profit. In such a way that at any given point of time, if there is a midnight knock on my company's doors by all the suppliers and creditors who have lent me money for my working capital, together knock, I should welcome them with a cup of tea and dinner. That condition is called state of liquidity. L-I-Q-U-I-D-I-D-Y.
State of liquidity.
And the ratio which measures this is called a current ratio, liquidity. I am in a state of liquidity. What does it mean? At any one point of time, I have sufficient current assets, out of which not borrow from somebody else and pay off the supplier. Only out of current assets if I am capable of paying the supplier, then I am in a state of liquidity. And if somebody asks, good for you, but tell me how much safe for you? What is your state of liquidity in terms of figures? On a 0 to 10 scale, where do you stand in terms of liquidity? Any financial statement must be measurable, not a general terminology using good, bad and all. Now that measurement is offered by the ratio. In this case, if it is greater than 1, then you are in a good state of liquidity. What does it mean? The numerator is higher than the denominator. On the contrary, if it is less than 1, that means if there is a knock on you by all the creditors, you may have to take them as partners, that's all, because you don't have assets to pay. It is a bad state of liquidity. The word used is, you are in a state of illiquidity, opposite of liquidity. Same word liquidity, you quietly add the letters I-L behind it without the word knowing it. Right? Striking a ratio is arithmetic. Interpreting it is almost translation. But the last part of any ratio analysis is having a norm. Like we did in the case of debt equity, we said norm is 2, compared to 2, 1.2 is underutilization of capacity. And if it was higher than 2.5, I think I did not tell you, what should I say? If the debt equity of the company is 3, when the Indian norm is 2, what should I say? The company is beautiful. Where did you read this from?
Newspapers it comes.
Huh?
Newspapers it comes.
Newspaper, very good.
What is that?
Highly leveraged, that's how they call it.
Explain why.
I mean,
Highly leveraged,
I
L-E-V-E-R-A-G.
think using the equity, debt equity is high. That means they are borrowing a lot more.
Why use the word leverage? Lever.
Liver.
Oh, lever.
First order liver.
First order lever, fulcrum, point of support.
Forgotten your high school.
Statics. So this is how finance should be seen. Just not be satisfied by reading a newspaper, leverage. I'll come back to it. Just now let me finish this closing line. So any ratio analysis requires the norm with which to compare, just like 2. If it is higher than 2, I will say highly leveraged. I will explain to you shortly. The norm by a lending banker in India, out of empirical experience, they have evolved a norm. So let's not try to derive that norm. It's empirical, not derivable. 1.33. Right now, that's the norm. 1.33.
That's a traceability, right?
Current ratios,
Current ratio.
naturally, I said I will come back to you shortly, but we will get back.
Current
Current
ratio.
ratio is 1.33. It's the norm.
Can you explain in English, Amir, the sentence?
This
Hmm.
okay. See, current ratio is nothing but that is state of liquidity. We are
No, this particular sentence, norm.
norm is
Now, whatever
In
you
which-
wrote, he is asking you to read.
With reference to your company, man.
okay.
What was your ratio?
Yeah. See, my
What was
ratio
your
is,
current ratio?
my ratio is 1.88.
1.8.
Okay.
Norm is 1.3.
So what do you?
Right. So my company is exceeding the norm.
Therefore, exceeding the norm is apparent.
Yes.
But therefore,
The,
You are good. You are good, bad, or ugly.
You are in the state of liquidity.
I am in a state of liquidity. Means if I compare, I am in a state of liquidity. It's not illiquid.
Good liquidity.
Good liquidity.
he is asking good, bad or ugly. It is
Good,
exceeded the norm.
You are good, bad, or ugly.
It is, you have
It's a
exceeded the
good
norm.
state of liquidity.
Alright.
You are good.
Accept.
Your company is good.
Yeah.
according to norm.
Norm.
According
Yes.
to norm.
That is important.
Yes.
We are
according to
stressing on norm.
Absolutely.
If you do the business in some other country, it will be different. Some other
Domestically.
bank, it will be different. Some other source of fund, it will be different. We are talking about Indian banks.
Bank. Not from the
Indian
investor's point
banks.
of view. Not from the supplier's point of view.
Ah,
From the bank's lending banker's point of view.
general statement.
Can you tell me a poser, a mental poser? If I say this company has 1.33 as current ratio, current asset divided by current liability, say x upon y is equal to 1.33. What is the percentage of y in x? Did you understand the question?
X by y is 1.3.
X divided by y is equal to 1.33.
Okay.
Algebraically work out. My question is, what is the percentage of y in x? First of all, don't look at your balance sheet, it's not 1.33. That means x is greater than y by 1.33 times.
What is
Right.
it?
Given that data, what is the whatever be x, what should be the percentage of y in x?
33%, 133%. I don't know the exact definition. 100.
Definition alla mathematics na nature.
Mathematics probably
Once again, x upon y is equal to 1.8. Forget finance. Some school nalli ante board x upon y is equal to 1.33. Determine y as a percentage of x.
Determine y as percentage of
Naturally, so x is higher,
Yeah.
so y is a percentage of x.
Y as 67%. 75%.
So in other words, the norm says, whatever be your current liability, it should not exceed 75% of your current assets. So if current assets are 100 rupees, current liabilities should not exceed 75 rupees. Then what happens to the remaining 25 rupees to be paid off? Because you have to pay for the current assets. What is the source? Really? If 75% is the limit up to which you can borrow from a supplier, but you have to fund 100 rupees. The remaining 25 rupees, what is the source? Yes, there are only two sources in business, sir. Why are you thinking like this? A borrowed source and my own source. So it should be my own. My own means in the balance sheet, where should you see it?
Non-current assets.
Capital.
Capital, my own capital.
Asset is application of funds, sir. Source and the very liabilities to everything.
My capital. Capital.
So that capital, entire capital,
Not entire.
that capital has been used for several other asset building, including current assets. Therefore, that portion of capital which is available after funding non-current assets should be 25%. This 25 rupees out of 100 which your own capital should finance is called margin. MARGIN. Promoter's margin, businessman's margin,